If you're thinking about moving to the gorgeous Lake Travis area just west of Austin, you might be asking yourself the question, where do I even begin? There is one big nuance to the Lake Travis area, and this is often where people get incredibly confused about exactly where to begin their search. So what I'm going to do today is give you a high-level overview of how the entire area lays out and tell you where I would focus my home search efforts if I were you. That way, when you come to visit and hopefully carve out some time to meet with our team, you'll have a much better idea of where you want to focus your ultimate time and effort. So on that note, let's go ahead and dive right in. We are now at Old Faithful Google Maps, and I'm going to jump right in and really help you understand one of the biggest nuances to this Lake Travis area, and that is the north and south shore of Lake Travis itself. This is where a lot of people get lost. So because you're already on this video, you probably have a general understanding of where Lake Travis itself is. But here is Austin proper. This is downtown, central Austin, and Lake Travis is essentially west of Austin. So focusing a little bit more on this Lake Travis area right here, we have what we refer to as the north shore of Lake Travis. This is the north side of the lake itself. And then the south shore of Lake Travis, pretty self-explanatory, but the reason this is so incredibly important is it can make a significant impact on your driving time and distance into downtown Austin. And there's a reason for that. So if you live on the south shore of Lake Travis, then you have a few different ways that you can get into downtown Austin. You can take 620 here, you can take 71, you can go Bee Caves Road through Westlake into downtown Austin. You can also go southwest of Austin back up in there, or you can go up and around. So these are all different areas that you can access central Austin depending on whether you're going north, central, or south throughout the city. Now, if you live on the north shore of Lake Travis, you would think that there might be a bridge or something that gets you across Lake Travis itself, a little cut through for convenience purposes. But there is not. So the reason that makes a substantial difference is, let's say you live in Lago Vista, for example. Maybe you're down here in the Highland Lake Estates area, really pretty location that we'll talk about a little bit more today. You might find yourself being a 50-minute to an hour-long drive into Austin. And the reason for that is because you only have one way in and one way out, and that is taking 1431, this road, all the way over here into wherever you're going in Austin. You can do that. You can wind through some of these other areas too as little cut throughs, but the gist is that there's no bridge that gets you across Lake Travis. There's no cut through in any of these neighborhoods. You have to go up and around. So that's going to add a pretty significant drive time or distance if you find yourself commuting to downtown, or maybe you don't necessarily work downtown, but you think you're going to be enjoying some of the restaurants and that Austin scene if you move to the area. So that is a little bit of a better understanding of the north and south shore of Lake Travis if you hear people referring to it as such. Now, if you live on the south shore of Lake Travis, and that's going to include areas like Lakeway, Briarcliff, Hudson Bend, this Valenti area, Marshall Ford, Steiner Ranch, so on, then depending on how deep into these neighborhoods you are, you could find yourself being a 30 to 35 minute drive into downtown Austin. So not too bad. It's certainly not a bad trade-off to be living in the gorgeous Texas Hill Country, which you're going to find in this entire West Austin area. Now, on that note, let's talk about the road infrastructure a little bit, because as Austin grows, so do all of the surrounding suburbs and areas, and that is leading to a lot of congestion. It's kind of gotten to the point where you can't really avoid it. You just have to find a spot you love and make sure that it has ample amenities to support your particular lifestyle and needs. So talking about the road infrastructure around Lake Travis, if you live on the south shore of the lake and you're in the Lakeway area, maybe you're going out west a little bit more to Spicewood in this Briar Cliff vicinity, or perhaps you live in this upper area of the lake, Valenti, Marshall Ford, Four Points, that section. You are going to find yourself traveling on 620. It's also called Ranch Road 620, FM 620. Most people refer to it as 620. And this is an entire stretch from Bee Cave and all the way back up into North Austin over here, where it becomes a very convenient toll road. The reason I point this out, though, is because 620 is quite a long stretch, and it's a main artery that feeds all of these suburbs, neighborhoods, and everything in between, commercial businesses. It's very heavily traveled. It's not a highway. It is stop and go lights at a lot of these various intersections. For the time being, it's 2 lanes on either side. Some areas have a center turn lane. Now, there is, starting up north on 620, they have begun a road expansion. So they're going to add a lane to either side of 620, and that construction is going to work its way down all the way into this Lakeway area. So it's much needed, but it is important to point out that right now it can get quite congested. A lot of that seems to travel or to follow the traffic patterns, normal traffic patterns, morning and evening when people are commuting to work. Also, there are several schools located along the 620 stretch. You have Lake Travis High School over here, Hudson Bend Elementary School, and another high school off of 2222 that can sometimes cause a little bit more congestion in these particular areas. So just important to point out that depending on where you're located in terms of the neighborhood that you pick and where you might be commuting, whether that's the Domain area in North Austin, if you happen to be working there, or maybe you're working downtown, you might want to be strategic about where along 620 you're targeting a home and neighborhood, because that could add a significant drive time to your daily commute. Again, these are all little nuances. We're happy to share more if you want to reach out to us about your particular circumstances, and we can help you ultimately find the right spot. Another thing to point out is that Highway 71 right here has become a very high growth corridor. This is the city of Bee Cave. You have the Hill Country Galleria, a really nice amenity center, mixed use shopping, restaurants, and so much more that really is a nice commercial hub to Bee Cave, Lakeway, and that general area. But the reason I point out 71 is that there is a ton of new construction that's happening all along this stretch. That's residential, it's commercial development, and everything in between. So if you are targeting newer construction, this is because there's land available for these builders to build homes and commercial amenities. This is the stretch that you might want to target if you're looking for that newer construction. This also is a very high growth corridor because when I zoom out here, this takes you all the way to 281, and 281 takes you south back into San Antonio, another major market. So I think in future years, we're going to see just huge development in this area on the way to San Antonio, West Austin, out towards Spicewood, and of course, the Horseshoe Bay Marble Falls area that has Lake LBJ, a very nice, primarily second home community, but certainly a great town in and of itself. Now, heading back to Lake Travis, which is our focal point today, the other roads to point out would be if you're living on the north shore of the lake. As I mentioned, there are really only a couple of ways to get there, and they're all north. Now, 2222 is this east and westbound stretch that takes you into North Austin. It also takes you over all the way up to this 620 intersection. So you could take 2222 into Austin and you hit 620 and go back south or north, depending on where you live. If you are on that north shore of Lake Travis, you're going to take 620 up to Anderson Mill Road. Anderson Mill Road then connects to another road called 1431. Keep in mind, none of these are highways. They move quickly, but they're not highways. So it's a little less efficient than what you might be used to in other cities. Anderson Mill Road intersects with 1431 right here, which is the winding, hilly road that will take you first into Jonestown, really great town that's a little bit more accessible than maybe the Lago Vista area because you're closer. You're closer to not only Austin, but this Cedar Park and Leander area that has a ton of commercial development as well. So if you do a lot of shopping, grocery store runs, this might be a hub that you'd like to be a little bit closer to when possible. Now, 1431 also takes you right into Lago Vista, another fantastic area on the north shore of Lake Travis. And Loman's Ford Road feeds all of this Lago Vista area. You can actually find some nice new construction, not only in Lago Vista itself with some of the local, more custom and semi-custom home builders, but also the large national production builders building master plan communities in these general areas too. So if that is your cup of tea and something you're looking for, again, be sure to reach out to us so we can tell you much more about what's available, as well as what you can find in each of those communities. I am going to take you back over to the south shore of Lake Travis, where I'm going to start breaking down some of these different neighborhoods. That's probably what you're very interested in hearing more about. So I'll give you a high level overview of each of these neighborhoods or general areas on the south shore of Lake Travis, and then we'll pop over to the north shore so you have a really good overall understanding of what areas you might like to target just based on your individual needs. I'm going to start with this area of Lakeway, and we'll kind of work our way up and around. Now, Lakeway has been around for many years. Before a lot of this development in the area, Lakeway was a sort of a retirement area, certainly a second home community. You had a lot of really neat homes along Lake Travis right back here. Old homes, some former astronauts lived here, newscasters like Dan Rather. I mean, it's just, you have a laundry list of very interesting people who happen to have second homes in Lakeway decades ago. It's a very pretty area, of course. In all of these locations that I'm discussing, you are located in the Texas Hill Country. So you can expect really nice topography, great views, many of which have Lake Travis or canyon views throughout, certainly a ton of trees and really pretty vegetation. So that's what attracts people to this general area. Now, Lakeway itself is made up of a couple of different sections. This section off of Lakeway Boulevard, which is again a main artery that feeds the area. This whole stretch just north of Lakeway Boulevard, not technically, but most people are referring to this as Old Lakeway, the older homes, the original sections. Technically, Old Lakeway is really the back of the area where a lot of those original homes in Lakeway were located. This is kind of where that development started, and then it worked its way outside of that. But generally speaking, people will refer to this original section as Old Lakeway. It's not even though you can find new construction within, most of the homes are older, remodeled, and just a variety of styles, which a lot of people like. Now, if you're looking for a community that's brand new or newer, I should say, with homes that are consistent, you might want to consider the area of Rough Hollow. This is also considered Lakeway, but Rough Hollow itself is a really nice master plan community where most of the homes are newer. You have a variety of home types. So you have large single family homes, really pretty waterfront homes located here in the gated exclusive section of the peninsula. You have lock and leave style condos and townhomes too, very nice modern finishes, brand new construction with really great views that located here at the point in Rough Hollow. So depending on your lifestyle, the type of home you're looking for, if you travel a lot, or maybe you're looking for more space, not only in the home itself, but larger lots and a little more exclusivity. You might be targeting the peninsula. But what's really nice about this area is that there's really something for everyone. What I also love about Rough Hollow, and this is also true for a lot of spots in Lakeway, but Rough Hollow specifically, with your HOA membership, you have direct access to Lake Travis itself. I'm going to switch over to satellite view. That will show you a little bit more. This is the Rough Hollow Marina, and there are community amenities located right here, including Canyon Grill, which is a local restaurant. You don't have to be a resident to access the marina or the grill, but it's really nice to know that as a resident, you have this in your community. So you can just golf cart over to the fitness center that's in here, one of the pools. You can go grab a bite at the grill, and then you can pop down to the marina and rent free stand-up paddle boards and kayaks for a day on the lake. So it's really pretty incredible that all of this is in your backyard when you're living in Rough Hollow. Now, if you are in the older section of Lakeway, that's not to say that you don't have plenty of amenities. In all of these areas, you're going to find various marinas. There's another marina here. You have some others that are up along the lake too. So you still have access in certain ways to Lake Travis itself, even if you're living in Old Lakeway. One more thing to point out here that's more of a fun fact, but if you are a pilot, you might be interested in this. So this is the Lakeway Air Park, and you actually have homes with airplane hangars as the garage along this runway. So pretty cool little thing in the Old Lakeway area that not a lot of people know about. So if you are a pilot and interested in one of those homes, then be sure to reach out to us. Or if you just appreciate watching some neat private planes fly around, then you're definitely going to get some of that here in this Lake Travis area. Now, before I move on to some of the other neighborhoods up and around the lake, I want to point out the commercial development because I know that's very important. Most people want to make sure that that's as convenient as possible day to day. So in the Lakeway area, you can piggyback off of these amenity centers over here. We have our trusty HEB, that's our local grocery store. We also have this development. I'm going to switch back here. It might be a little bit easier to see. The Oaks at Lakeway that houses HEB, our local grocery store, also has a handful of other restaurants, local restaurants, sushi spots, Indian food, American food, all sorts of things in this pocket. So it's very convenient for anybody who lives in this general area. Grocery store run, quick bite to eat at a restaurant. As I mentioned with the growth along 71 too, there is a lot of new commercial development that has popped up. There is supposed to be another HEB grocery store under construction, or at least underway, I should say, along 71. So if you do choose to move to one of these newer areas off of this stretch, you will have a grocery store that's very close and convenient not too long from now. Also in Bee Cave, this is the Hill Country Galleria that I mentioned. Nice mixed use facility. We have Whole Foods in there. There's a Trader Joe's that's opening up here soon on the other side of the Hill Country Galleria, that mixed use center that I've been mentioning. About 70 or more restaurants in here, shops, all sorts of things. And I think with the growth that we're experiencing, the shops and restaurants in this hub are just going to get better and better. So I'm pretty excited about that. You also have several golf courses in this area. If you live in the Lakeway area, you can be a member of the Hills Country Club that manages 4 different golf courses in this vicinity. So it's very nice in terms of outdoor activities, greenbelt, hiking trails, all sorts of things throughout, all at your fingertips in this immediate area. Now, working our way up north, you are on the other side of 620. This is a very different pocket, Apache Shores. Great views along the Colorado River, which is also referred to as Lake Austin. So this is interesting right here. Technically, Lake Travis is the Colorado River. This is a man-made reservoir that was created many decades ago. There is Mansfield Dam right here, that holds Lake Travis in, and then it becomes the lower Colorado River, aka Lake Austin, that runs all the way into downtown Austin. This is the stretch where you'll see a lot of people kayaking, paddle boarding. But to paint a better picture, this stretch takes you all the way from Lake Travis, essentially. Now, what's really neat about this is you do have some really unique water view homes. They're situated up on the hilltop, and then most of them have private docks along Lake Austin. Now, Apache Shores is a wide mix of homes. It's definitely a spot that you're going to want to drive through to see if it's for you. You have anywhere from brand new multi-million-dollar construction to a variety of manufactured homes. It's in everything in between. So Apache Shores, Cardinal Hills, and some of these other areas, I think, offer quite a lot of value depending on what you're looking for. There are some other areas in here, such as Vineyard Bay, Costa Bella. These are really nice gated neighborhoods in certain sections. So depending on your budget, how much house you're wanting, these could be nice pocket communities for you too. What I like about this location is that you're situated in the middle of 620. So if you do find yourself commuting into North Austin a bit more frequently, maybe it's for work, or you like to travel to the Domain, our high-end outdoor shopping center, then maybe you want to live somewhere a little bit more centrally located on 620, so you're not traversing the congestion starting down here going up and around. So again, just little nuances to consider in your search, but there are some very nice neighborhoods that not a lot of people talk about all along this stretch. And I would include Vineyard Bay, Costa Bella, this Yacht Harbor area as those particular neighborhoods. They're smaller, very private, and again, not a lot of people know about them. Now, Hudson Bend is a very large pocket. Again, a wide variety of homes in this area, a wide variety of businesses too. And the reason is this is technically not the city of Lakeway. This is actually what they call the Austin ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdiction. And what that means is there really is very minimal regulation in this Hudson Bend area. So you might have your nice multi-million-dollar waterfront property, and then you have a boat storage facility really close by. It's a super neat area though, a ton of potential and a lot of different home types throughout. Very pretty. You still have the nice rolling hills in here. You have a lot of lake access. As you can see, these are some of the deepest parts of Lake Travis itself too. So again, Hudson Bend is an area that not a lot of people talk about. If you want to have a little bit more freedom with what you're doing on your property, to your property, and not dealing with HOA or as many city regulations, then you might like to target this Hudson Bend area, or at least look into it. Even though Steiner Ranch right here is not situated on Lake Travis, I consider this the Lake Travis area in general. And at the base of Steiner Ranch, you actually have really neat Lake Austin access. So I think this is certainly a neighborhood that's important to discuss and offers a lot of opportunity in various home types. Steiner Ranch is actually one of the original master plan communities in this area, especially before Rough Hollow came along in Lakeway. So Steiner Ranch provides all of the amenities that you could want and need. Multiple pools, schools within Steiner Ranch, so very convenient if you have children. You also have the very popular UT Golf Club. This is a gated, very private section of Steiner Ranch with many nice homes. Of course, the UT Golf Club itself that I mentioned, they have a clubhouse, events, you have a pool, fitness center. So a lot at your fingertips in this area. If you're not into UT Golf Club gated section though, that's okay, because you have multiple pools all throughout Steiner Ranch and all sorts of different pocket communities within the greater master plan. But I think this area is really neat. Down here, you have a park, you have a boat ramp. So if you do want to launch your boat or just go hang out by the water someday, you can. It's very accessible all along this Quinlan Park Road through Steiner Ranch. But also up here at the entrance of Steiner Ranch in this commercial shopping center at 620, you have a Randall's grocery store and a lot of other little local businesses in here too. So you really don't have to leave your bubble unless you're going somewhere that's quite specific and you just want a little change up. It's all here as part of this nice Steiner Ranch master plan. So again, very convenient. You also have more marinas over here. So Lake Travis access if you want. Mansfield Dam is that dam that I mentioned, and you have Mansfield Dam Park right across the way. So you can actually get into Lake Travis over here and hang out at the park on a really nice day. So again, all incredibly convenient, whether you're living in Steiner Ranch or whether you're in this Lakeway, South Shore, Lake Travis area, and you just want a little change of scenery. So you pop over here. But again, very convenient and a ton of opportunity. All right, now we are working our way a little bit more north, and we are now in the Comanche area. If you've been looking up things to do in Austin or exploring the area, you might have come across the Oasis on Lake Travis. This is a huge restaurant overlooking the lake. This is one of the deepest, widest parts of Lake Travis itself. And the Oasis is a restaurant there. Now, I will say if you're really hungry and you're looking for a super good meal, just don't have high expectations when you go to the Oasis, but it's a really good spot for you to hang out, see a really lovely sunset, and maybe get some chips and salsa. But I mean, don't have super high expectations if you're really hungry, just fair warning. Again, beautiful view. You're in this Comanche Canyon Ranch area. There's some really neat homes in here too. These are big views with this wide body of the lake right here. So most of the homes that you're going to find, although there aren't very many homes in this area, you can kind of see that on the map, just these little pockets of homes and a few along the way on Comanche Trail itself. But in this area, a lot of the homes are oriented to face the lake. The appeal is big views. So that's another really nice feature to this area. A lot of this green space you see here too is Canyonland Preserve. And that's what makes this area really special and a lot of these areas in here. A lot of this will never be developed because it is an actual preserve and you're going to maintain that nice hill country aesthetic nearby. Now, fair warning, Hippie Hollow Park, and this is, if you're not local, you probably don't know this. This is actually a nude beach. So if you think that you're going to pop over to the convenient Hippie Hollow Park and you don't look it up ahead of time, just be warned. That's what Hippie Hollow Park is right here. But again, you have Bob Wentz Park. That's another access to Lake Travis itself. You can get into there. Windy Point Park. Lots of great areas that take you down to the water in this immediate location. This is also a very convenient pocket because what you can do is you can take 2222, this main road, right back into North Austin. Lots of fantastic spots in North Austin over here. So you're very conveniently located to many things, not only in the Lake Travis area, but also if you are to go back into North and Central Austin specifically. Valenti is, I'd say, a similar area, very tight winding roads getting up into these really neat homes, many of which overlook the lake. Definitely lake life. This takes you a little bit longer to get in and out, primarily because this is a winding road with just a lane on either side. Beautiful views though. I mean, really neat, unique homes in a lot of these areas. So if that's something you're looking for and you're willing to just take a little bit longer to get to and from your house, mainly because of that, then this might be a really good spot for you to consider as well. Now, we're going to jog over to the north shore of Lake Travis. And I want to point out, when you're driving to Jonestown or Lago Vista, if those are the areas where you live, you're probably going to find yourself taking Anderson Mill Road somewhere from North Austin, either Anderson Mill Road or Highway 183 to this Whitestone Boulevard that becomes 1431. So that's, again, it's all accessible. I just like to point that out because this makes living in certain areas a little bit harder. Not harder, just it will just take a little bit longer. And that's not always what people are looking for. But it's often what people are looking for too, because they want that hill country lifestyle. They want to feel like they're in their little oasis on a really nice piece of property. And that's what these areas have to offer as well. So working our way from Valenti up to the north shore of the lake, you have Jonestown. Jonestown is a cool small town, again, with a variety of homes. You have some nice gated communities within here too, with access to the lake. Nice big lake views, canyon views, again, everything in between. There's some local shops and businesses in here too. And I really think that's going to grow in years to come, especially as we head into Lago Vista, where a lot of the national production builders are now building master plan communities. So oftentimes once those developers start those big developments, they're exploring demographics. They're seeing that this community could work for them. And that's definitely something to keep your eye on. And that has been happening and is continuing to happen in this particular pocket here in Lago Vista. Now, this section of Lago Vista is the original section. You still actually have quite a bit of new construction in here, though. You have some local semi-custom home builders that will purchase individual lots and build individual spec homes. So if you're looking for a new home, but maybe you don't want to be in the brand new master plan community, then you can certainly find that in this Lago Vista area. In Lago Vista, you also have access to the lake. So as a resident of Lago Vista, you're part of their property owners association. It's very nominal. It's $100 or $150 annually at the time I'm making this video. And that gives you access to all of their private waterfront parks, and they have a handful of them. So it's a really neat feature for residents who want to have that lake access. And again, it's only accessible by residents who have that park pass. The new construction area that I am mentioning is Lakeside at Tacera. This is a really nice master plan community, also with great lake access. So I'll zoom out actually to give you just a better bird's eye view in Lago Vista. So this is located along 1431, the main road, just past that original section of Lago Vista. And the reason I switched over to satellite view is I want to point out their amenities too. So a nice hilly master plan community with several different builders. They have a great amenity center too on the water. What's neat, and that you can see the lake is down. Again, Lake Travis levels fluctuate. So that's very important to note. A lot of the boat ramps, if the lake is low, are not going to be usable, but you can still work your way into the water. In a lot of these areas, drop kayaks in, but launching a boat can sometimes be tricky when the lake is low. But Lakeside at Tacera has a private boat ramp for residents. And they also have this really great amenity center, a beautiful infinity edge pool overlooking the lake, and a path to get you down to their private park and water area. So all of these communities that are located on Lake Travis, I think, have done a very good job of providing that lake lifestyle that people are looking for when moving to the area. There is one more community that I don't want to miss on the north shore of Lake Travis, and that is the Hollows. This is another master plan that's been around for longer than Lakeside Tacera, the community that I just mentioned. It's very, very nice. Again, a variety of home types, price ranges, gated and non-gated sections, and importantly, very nice amenities that tie in that lake lifestyle. So when you're in the Hollows, you have multiple amenity centers. You have access to the lake. You can see this over here. Where you're going to access a lot of these points would be North Shore on Lake Travis. This is the marina that's accessible through the Hollows development. So if you have a boat, you might want to keep your boat at North Shore Marina because of the added convenience. Near the marina, you also have one of the amenity centers in the Hollows. This is just a bird's eye view of their pool, tennis courts, clubhouse. They have a little grill here too. So just really nice and convenient. A lot of these communities are golf cart communities too. So if you are just out and about, you want to hop on your golf cart and go grab a bite to eat or go over to the marina, you can certainly do so. And I think that just makes it a little bit more fun, definitely for families with kids. Now, the Hollows also offers condos and various townhomes. Some of these homes are used as second homes, lake homes, and having that lock and leave component is really appealing for people. Again, all of the big hill country views that you're going to get in this area because of the hill country nature and topography, and just a whole lot that these locations have to offer. So that covers Lago Vista, the Hollows, Jonestown, Lakeside at Tacera, that newer community I mentioned. And then going back over to the south shore of the lake, if you are looking for something where you're just a little bit closer to Bee Cave, Central Austin, and downtown, then you might find yourself wanting to explore this south shore of Lake Travis a little bit more. Lakeway is a prime location that accomplishes a lot of things. Depending on the property type that you're looking for, though, and the lifestyle, I may point you in another direction that suits your needs better. So be sure to reach out to us so that we can guide you on all of the nuances that you're going to find in this general area. You really can't go wrong living near Lake Travis itself. It's really just a matter of finding the spot that ultimately suits your lifestyle. My name is Aubrey Von Barron, and I'm a licensed real estate broker helping hundreds of people make a move to and from the Austin metro. My team and I would love to be a resource for you along the way, so be sure to reach out through the information below. Until next time.